back to another chapter of Shinnok's Uprising. Last time, we just completed the faction of Nightwolf and Sub-Zero. They just encountered Baraka, who was actually determined to stop Quan Chi and Shinnok, because he doesn't want himself and the Tarkatans to be dominated, like they did with Shao Kahn. Because, they're not as user-friendly. They're not really employees. They just are imperialistic more than Shao Kahn, so just force him into slavery. And they also encountered Hanzo, who actually came into terms of what really happened involving the deaths of his family and clan. And it was thanks to Sector's data chip, in which Nightwolf and Smoke programmed to give him the information. So it was proof that Quan Chi did it. And at one time, he kind of gave in to his anger and kind of got amnesia or something when he sent them to the Nether Realm. So, Hanzo is actually reforming himself. And now that all the factions are done, it's time for the melee. Alright, here we are. Chapter 7. The Edenian Melee. As Jade was chasing after Katana, whom she thought had rallied up the Edenians' cavalry, she and Liu were cut off but short by more of those lethal generals, which took the duo by surprise. The pair was quickly surrounded by the army of darkness, even the Onis compared with the shadows. Liu was taken off guard by a wave of enemies while Jade kept bashing through them. Her agility and swift moves provided a better advantage, though the monk wasn't so lucky. Meanwhile, the Saurians hid within the shadows, blending in, wearing their disguises consisting of branches, leaves, etc. The onlookers wouldn't even see Katana, Aiko, and others mingling alongside the cunning raptors. One distant warrior wrapped in stray leaves and branches came in and kicked the assailant off of Liu Kang's chest. He looked yonder and tossed his razor-rimmed hat, which decapitated a nearby enemy, and another when it returned to its user. He swiped the rim free of blood, and he tossed his stealthy cover away, teleported behind the nearby assailant. His kicks clashed with his lethal blunt weapon before he was covered in spat acid. Vulnerable, the shaded celebrity took off his glasses and finished the job. Hey! Another tenor waved and ran to the stupefied duo. Out came Johnny. Looks like we got here just in time. Who is this hot chick? Jade shrugged off the remark and noticed the Tarkatans beaten the reinforcements to the punch, or rather more precise, by their fatal blades as they let out their hisses and roars. The Tarkatans blew our cover! I'm not sure how we would be able to infiltrate the palace discreetly. At least not of Quan Chi and Shinnok noticing. From her peripheral vision, she noticed one of the past assailants, the one that brutally cut her into ribbons back on top of the tower in Outworld. Nice to see you again! Uh-oh, Jade noticed Kung Lao. Let's see if you can lop my head off! He felt the same repercussion as he recognized the spy for Shao Kahn. Faced her with a battle pose, Liu broke off the quarrel with outstretched arms. Hey! At ease, Kung Lao! She actually saved my life from a lethal trap set by one of Shinnok's generals. She, however, was resurrected by Raiden. Raiden? He noticed someone was amiss. Where's Kai? He was kidnapped by another one of Quan Chi's warriors. He said there's not much time to save the prisoners. Katana briefly entered his mind, making him preoccupied in his welfare, as well as her family's. That was until her dark blue Edenian garb caught his eye. Katana! You're okay! Liu suddenly rubbed her tight. Katana returned the pressure. He whispered he shall never let anything happen to her. Johnny rolled his eyes and Sonya gave him a sudden love tap with her backhand. As they broke away, her vision spotted Jade! The ninja hesitated before both women slowly treaded to each other and gave a tight hug as they reunited like playful sisters. She settled once she saw her awestruck friend almost breaking into tears. "Another couple together at last," Aiko murmured. As Khan was out of the picture, the two women were free from his iron shackles and no longer forced to serve him. "We must destroy Quan Chi and retrieve that amulet." Everyone saw the trio consisting of Nightwolf, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion! They held up their dukes and muttered amongst themselves, assassinating the undead ninja. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, easy! Hanzo was on our side. He's willing to turn the tables against Quan Chi." "Hanzo? As in Hanzo Hasashi?" Lao recognized him. "I fought him in the Netherrealm." "This is not the time for vengeance, Kung Lao. Hanzo's the key to saving all realms, and I thought I was the only one consumed by this." "We have no time. We must enter the secret passage leading to the subterranean prison cells. We need to save my mother, Shiva, Asgarth, everyone." "I'll lead you to it, Katana. It's a relief that your mom retained the throne of Edenia and restored everything Khan has." Group was interrupted by the sudden uproars. "Here comes the cavalry." "Let's go while the Edenian army is keeping Quan Chi and his forces at bay." Scorpion hesitated. Then, by observing the bloody feud and overlooking the palace, he smoked under his breath. "I must get that amulet!" Stuck out his spear and swung like Tarzan to the distant tree. "Hanzo, wait!" Nightwolf held his head. "Does that vengeful wraith learn from his past mistakes?" He went after the cryomancer. "Nightwolf! Sub-Zero!" Lao held her back. "They'll be all right. We must escort the prisoners before Shinnok arrives." "Right. Lead on, Katana and Jade." The Edenian women did just that. They led the heroes to another hidden stone slab, which to the monks and Aiko reminded them of the entrance to the Dragon Grotto. With a tricky combination, the heroes unlocked the slab, lifted the hatch. Lu was the first to descend a wide staircase inside of limestone, used his cryokinesis to light the way. "Everyone stay alert. Shinnok's generals may still be down there, and these cells could be rigged." Alright, they obliged. Liu Kang still went with the Edenians, while Kung Lao and Aiko took another path and Johnny and Sonya took the third one. "Hang in there, Kai!" At the topmost floor, the opaque throne was occupied by the demon sorcerer Quan Chi, who just lounged while his followers got their hands full of the Edenian army. Then heard a hiss. Actually, this was the ending for Baraka.
Enter. I said enter, Baraka. Have no fear. Our betrayal is complete. I have dealt with those once loyal to Shinnok. This victory is ours.
You bask in your newfound power on the throne of Queen Sindel, while I am forced to hide in the shadows.
Who is it you are hiding from? The Elder Gods are dead. Raiden is dead. And thanks to you, Shinnok is dead.
Everyone is dead.
Yes. Everyone in this Forsaken realm is dead.
How do we rule a realm with no one in it?
This war was not about holding court to mortals. It was about obtaining power. I now possess that power.
And I am forced to live out my existence in a dead realm with a madman. Now, sorcerer, you okay with your life?
I haven't a life to give, you fool.
What?
I see that. It was so unfair what Baraka went through. Same thing with Reptile. You accomplished the arcade ladder to have your character killed? What the fuck? Anyway, where am I? Oh yeah, I think I'm here. But Quan Chi's amulet glowed and he used his free hand to suspend Baraka. But that didn't really happen. Making the carnivore's shell quiver and ignite in a bright scarlet hue. Quan Chi wasn't expecting a spear wrapping around his neck like a constricting noose. His trachea was being blocked, disallowing any oxygen while he's being pulled backwards. His two hands kept attempting to rip the hold, but it only made it more taut. Quan's tongue stuck out as his body buckled. "Get over here!" Scorpion hollered, commanding his rope spear, strangling him. He did just that as it popped off while his rotted corpse collapsed in a heap. Hanzo took off his vial, which unveiled a skull with flaming eyes. He almost instantly unleashed his fiery breath onto Quan, his helpless corpse along with his severed head. He stuck out his spear again, only for it to pull away the amulet from Quan's burning body. With the crippling barrier permanently disabled, Baraka fell into his stomach and was stunned on impact. Got up slowly, disoriented when Sub-Zero Nightwolf ran up to the doomed Japanese warrior. "Hanzo!" The artifact glowed in his left hand. "You have the amulet!" "Yes." He looked at it and noticed the sudden weight and its luster. "This is definitely the genuine artifact. Shinnok must never have his hands on it. With Quan Chi dead." Everyone was flabbergasted from the lifeless vessel. All of a sudden, there was a large boom heard in the distance. The trio figured it was only the melee from outside that drew nearer to the palace, making them uneasy. A flash of light blinded them. When they cleared, they were all speechless on seeing Raiden. "Lord Raiden!" "No time for formalities, warriors. Hanzo, you have Shinnok's amulet, I trust?" "Yes, I can tell this is the real deal." "Then we don't have any time to spare. Shinnok shall be heading to Edenia chasing after us. You must return to Earthrealm and restore it at the Temple of Elements." "The Temple of Elements?" Drifted several years, involving his brothers, he described him of the secret frigid location. "Your brother Bihan was responsible for causing this calamity. He defeated all the elemental guardians, allowing Quan Chi to attain it. I teleported him to the Netherrealm, and he was successful. However, it was later unveiled Quan Chi made a duplicate and gave it to Shinnok, only keeping the real amulet in his possession. It's possible he might have used that amulet to manipulate the gem one time." "Stand back!" Raiden created the portal. "This portal shall lead straight into the temple. Hurry, and give back the amulet. As long as Shinnok is separated, he will be powerless. He doesn't know of the sudden switch. He will remain trapped in the Netherrealm as long as it remains on Earth. All the realms depend on it. Go!" The two ninjas nodded. "Nightwolf, you need to stay and assist the Edenian army. We will need all the power we can possibly get. Only the two ninjas shall redeem themselves, if they are successful." Grey Cloud nodded and ran down the palace before Raiden electrocuted Baraka. "Not this time, Tarkatan." Then he sensed something troublesome. "He's here." Meanwhile, Quan and Hanzo landed with slippery feet onto the ice. Temple of Elements greeted them as it towered on the pair. It stood as massive and opaque as a titan. They entered the gloomy structure without hesitation, especially since they noticed it was left unguarded thanks to Shinnok killing off the gods in the heavens. They trekked through it. Hanzo explained more of the amulet as to why it was so omnipotent, as a messenger of Shinnok and Quan Chi, and veteran from the Netherrealm. The sacred amulet of Shinnok was the relic still worshipped as divine with the twisted religion of the Brotherhood of Shadow. because it was the malevolent elder god's most precious treasure and his greatest creation functioning as the source of his dark powers. Millennia ago, Shinnok created the amulet as a central focus of his divine power in a bid to control all the realms. He was narrowly thwarted by Raiden. For ages, the amulet remains nearly unknown and hidden deep within the Temple of Elements in Earthrealm. It was later retrieved by the original Sub-Zero Bi-Han after the Lin Kuei were hired by the demon sorcerer Quan Chi. Quan had delivered to his master Shinnok an exact duplicate, while he kept the original himself. Hanzo was thankful he never saw his fallen family revived as zombies, which was something both demons were capable of. "Why did you decide to assist us, Hanzo?" "Shinnok and Quan Chi are only capable of death and darkness. If light should smile upon me, it will bring my family's souls in the realms, as well as myself, peace. And your brother may finally rest from years of torment and warping the worlds unknowingly while assisting Quan Chi." Quite definitely like the sound of that. Underneath the veil Hanzo didn't know for the first time he smiled. "Then let's restore the amulet." So they were on their way. Good luck, guys. Liu Kang and Jade remained silent as they continued to trek through, however Katana abruptly stopped. She couldn't get Hanzo's mentioning of Shinnok's amulet out of her mind. She remembered in a flashback it was Quan that held the amulet back in Khan's arena behind the audience appreciating the champions, Liu and Lao, after the Conqueror's downfall. Ever since Hanzo brought up the amulet, she now realized the demon sorcerer had the real amulet, while Shinnok only used the duplicate. If so, and if the blanched bald man used it to revive Sindel, she believed there'd be a winning chance. But Quan Chi must be stopped first within the palace. She thought that he's an idiot despite how intimidating he is, especially when she heard of Aiko's future. Luke questioned as to why he created it. She said she needed it to be absolute. Since he's the elder god of death and corruption, it symbolized great power, and it remained divine despite it being twisted by the Brotherhood of Shadow. Aiko's future? How do you mean, Katana? She traveled from the future, Jade. Aiko is a time traveler? How? We don't know. We can all think it was Raiden. But I guess it's no different than traveling from other realms. They all grew silent as they pressed forward. "Sonya!" She and Johnny Cage heard a distant tenor, soon came in Nightwolf. "Where's Sub-Zero?" "He's been teleported via portal by Raiden to the Temple of Elements. Hanzo is with him." "What the hell is that undead bastard doing there?" Johnny couldn't get his fatal fight out of his mind back at Shang Tsung's island, even after he was teleported into the underworld, then returned by the Thunder God. At least that's what I think so. "To restore Shinnok's amulet. Raiden said he'll be here at any moment, chasing after him in Fujin. If they're successful, then he's powerless and victory will be ours." "What about Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Aiko, and Katana?" "I haven't found them yet, but I noticed the cavalry's breaking through. It should be easier now that Quan Chi's bit the dust by Scorpion, by the way." Johnny was flabbergasted. "Whoa, hold up. Did I just hear correctly that Scorpion, the undead maniac, killed Quan Chi? I'll be damned." "Yes. Unfortunately, this path only goes to the throne room. You'll have to go another way." "God damn it!" Meanwhile, Kung Lao was rushing from the halls, eagerly looking for the prisoners of war Shinnok held captive. Aiko followed him, however he needed to slow to a crawl since she didn't have as much stamina. Even after the vitamins of iron as well as the beets one of the monk's physicians offered her from time to time. They once suggested Aiko to take a blood test while Nightwolf was tweaking on making her new identity before she became a Chinese citizen, upon her unwillingness on never returning to the States. Turned out she was type A, the most common blood type. However, born as an anemic, she was lacking a crucial literal element of being iron. Since she wasn't a picky eater, they decided on supplements and beets to keep her healthier and more active. Kung Lao, please slow down! You okay? I just need to catch my breath. They then heard some distant and muffled voices. Most of them were in high pitch. Lau could have sworn they were shouting for help. Followed the distress calls while Aiko continued to lag behind. Soon enough he came across a series of small cells, some with bars, others he could be electric force fields. To test one of them, he threw his hat toward the exit as he figured, shock the rim as it spun before it dropped. It's booby-trapped! Just as I suspected! No different than on being disallowed to No different than those crafty traps at Shang Tsung's island. Summoned it back before he felt irritated on being disallowed to face the sorcerer. Aiko spoke. Can you teleport behind the force fields? I can try. He ordered the inmates to step back, though there wasn't a lot of wiggle room. He performed a successful work from beneath the stone floor. Hold on to me. I'll get you all out. After a while he was successful in retrieving each of the prisoners. He decided to stay discreet. So, the strategic monk eventually escorted everyone out, though he needed to hold a wounded Edenian over his shoulder. Our enemies, Quan Chi and Shinnok, may still be watching us. There must be somewhere they need to escape. I think I know where they can be. He immediately contacted Sonya on his wrist communicator, the one Nightwolf invented. Sonya, can you hear me? Yeah, I reach you. What's up, Kung Lao? I need you to send a portal back to Earthrealm. I found several prisoners of war, including Sindel, Shiva, Asgarth, and others. Great! Where are you? I took the middle pathway and found each of the survivors. I hope it gives us enough time while the cavalry keeps our enemies at bay. Right. The path I took leads into the throne room anyway. Stand by, Kung Lao. Moments later, he and Aiko were reunited. Where's Scorpion and Sub-Zero? They went to the Temple of Elements to keep away Shinnok's amulet. Without it, he could be powerless, and we may stand a chance. The shaman powered up the generator. This portal can only be used from the last rip point, in Earthrealm near the Bayon Har Mountains. Good. I can escort the prisoners to the Wuxi Academy. They'll be safe there. The Academy? Are you sure? Of course! The able-bodied monks will protect them, and some can heal their deep wounds. As long as the two demon sorcerers are at large here, it's the best thing to do. Look, I know this would be a first for us Earthrealmers, but we have no choice. This should definitely shake our bones. Alright, the portal's open! Hurry! The Shao Kahn and Edenian went into the portal little by little, even the wounded warriors like the fallen royals and their bodyguards. Sonya, Nightwolf, and Johnny only stood there and watched until the portal closed. Lau continued to carry the injured Edenians over his shoulder as he asked where he took them. He could inform the prisoners as he escorted them to his training grounds. As long as Shinnok is kept away from Earthrealm, they'll remain safe. They got closer to the peaceful grounds. Lau shouted a message in Mandarin, alerting any nearby monks they must be sent in emergency care for some of the refugees. Lau eventually unloaded the weak Edenian. One of them said in the native tongue they were intrigued with the inhabitants of 4 arms. Lau stated they're the Shokan race from the realm of Edenia. Sindel and Shiva weakly added it's their home and that other realms were real. Lu's grandfather met up. Kung Lao! You escorted other worlders to our domain? I didn't have a choice. Quan Chi and Shinnok are still waging war in Edenia. We hadn't yet won. Liu Kang and Kai are still... Liu Kang and Kai are still out there. They are? Then you must finish this fight. Lord Raiden warned us about this oncoming threat. We'll be ready. Lao nodded, and the frail monk urged him and Aiko to finish the job. Conveniently, the portal reopened at the same place where they escaped from. They took the rip back inside to the palace. So far, the cowboy looked like didn't notice other prisoners he had missed from the rows of cells. The couple traversed further into the dreary place until they wound up at a massive place. Actually, this was supposed to be in the Nether Realm, but I didn't know. Some of the stages could be very obscure, you know what I mean? Alright, there's the prison. Da-da-da. Kung Lao, look! Aiko pointed to a male who was hunched in a fetal position and laying on his side. Lao rushed to him. He first noticed he was Kai. And there's the crimson clothes. He was indeed in bad shape as he moaned once Lao got to him. Are you alright? Kung Lao, where's Liu Kang? He went with Katana and Jade looking for more prisoners. We've been separated. I'll get you out. He reached down. He said they'd been broken by one of Shinnok's generals, the one that almost looked like Shao Kahn. Aiko pointed out a figure, emerged from the black shadows, and he had a club. And though Kung Lao sparred at him, "Ha ha 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 ha! I love formidable opponents!" Sure enough, he looked very similar to the Outworld warlord, wearing similar armor as well as the pointed mask. Shao Kahn? Lao was dumbfounded. Apparently some were other fans back in the day, myself included. You wish, feeble mortal! I happen to be Shinnok's most esteemed general, and I had beaten this poor boy here. He didn't put up much of a fight. I go. She nodded, knowing she was only on healing duties. Seeing that Reiko had a club of his own, Lao commanded her to take the cardiokinetics. The fight was on. I wish this was like an actual mission. Yes, surrounding his eyes, he was shrouded in a similar-shaped helmet Khan wore. Unusually enough, the eyes were gleaming. At least they clashed club to club before their fancy footwork outmaneuvered each opponent. They seemed to be evenly matched, so Reiko's strategy didn't suffice much. He threw the club and threw out some shurikens, to which Lao deflected upon his tornado kick. God damn it, I keep getting them mixed up. It was difficult to see amongst the darkness, so he was stunned by ninja stars. He threw on his hat and managed to leave a mark on the enemy. They charged toward each other. Lao teleported behind and made a direct kick from the air. Reiko threw more shurikens, in which his razor-rimmed tap deflected, though Reiko was eager enough to kick it aside. By the time he retained it, the general took out a scythe. He landed a hit, though. Aiko conjured her cardiokinesis, disabling his breathing and giving him severe chest pain as green energy was transferred to the wounded Kai. Reiko threw the scythe toward the vulnerable duo. Lao jumped and kicked the blow after he teleported. His feet were very achy afterwards as he grimaced. Then Aiko drained more of Reiko's energy onto her hero. The lethal warrior threw in more deadly stars, in which Lao blocked. The one impaled his upper arm. Grinding his teeth, Lao tried to refocus his vision onto the enemy. He turned to Kai and responded in Mandarin, to which surprisingly he obliged, and told Aiko to move away from Lao. Shaky hands grabbed her club and held the end of a tight clutch like an anaconda's. He spun as fast as he could muster, and his body conjured a miniature funnel. However, the weapon was rotating blindly with Lao as the singularity. Reiko was foolish enough trying to counter it with his kicks, but he was caught unawares by Lao's strong rotations holding Aiko's club, hitting the general directly. After several blows, Lao's last one hit him directly to his head, making his helmet fly off. Kind of like a shout-out to Shaolin monks, especially with Shao Kahn. Dazed and disoriented, Reiko was helpless against Lao's headlock. He then repeated the same maneuver as he spun so violently that it disabled Raiko's vision. Lau then tossed him diagonally up, into the large fan. Ugh, that's the stage fatality. Aiko and Kai couldn't bear Raiko's body being splattered in multiple directions, even though gravity took advantage, making it a shower later. The enemy wailed before his body scattered. Kung Lao made a pose, relaxing his body and mind before Aiko unshielded her eyes just a tad as she drew the remaining vital energy into the two Orientals. Green streaks began to course through their veins, restoring their energy while absorbed. Remembering the random encounter from a couple years ago, there it is again! What the hell? Before she managed to see his face, only a blurry spot of bright peach disappeared. Toasty! Lau ran over to the stunned duo. Kai, Aiko, you two okay? Yeah, thanks, Lau. Lu was right on finding a skilled warrior like you. The monk replied with a bow, then he pulled up the two newbie fighters. Kai, are you still willing to fight alongside us? Against Shinnok and Quan Chi? Of course. They left the prison. Kai just remained still and watched them walk out, not even making a single movement or sound. In fact, his face was blank, then made an unusual sneer while a hand dropped with his palm facing the two. Aiko suddenly felt her heart began to pace faster, as if she was having a very nervous reaction. She hesitated as she heard it thumping in her ears. What is it? I don't know. I just felt my heart speeding up. Something just doesn't feel right. The descended hand gradually clenched into a very tight fist. Aiko began to get lightheaded, and her chest began to have a sharp pang, as if a knife stabbed through it. Lau kneeled next to her, trying to tender her until he saw Kai raise another hand. What? Kai? All he did was show deep dimples as his eyes narrowed, and the monk crumbled. He struggled to lift his head. An ominous figure stood with bright blue flesh and a crimson wardrobe with matching hat. To Lau's and Aiko's horror, it is you! As Shinnok reached into her hearts, he drained their vitality while he began to read them. All their thoughts, all their fears, their being. Kung Lao and Aiko. His voice was sinister enough. It can't be! This was all a trap! Thank you for grading me the energy and the heart-bending skills I needed. And quite a rare specimen indeed, little Aiko. Twisted his hand, causing her heart to feel like a fire poker. All she did was reach out a hand, begging for Lau to rescue her. Let her go, Shinnok! If you come to kill us. Oh no! I'm certain you have your reasons to join me, fellow mortals. I can see your future, your nightmares. You see, the heart houses your deepest desires, and it can be as fragile and corruptive as even more than the mind. I noticed you have visions of joining me on a path for power and revenge, as well as several of your compatriots. All I need is the champion to make it all worthwhile. We'll never join you, Shinnok! I'm afraid you won't have a choice, my dear. Or maybe you will have one once I give you all of a little persuasion. Now where is the champion? Made the duo wail more, as if he searched their hearts. Visions of Liu Kang entered Shinnok's mind, training at the academy. Ah, yes. The legendary champion of Earth. I think I know the perfect catch. I'm luring you all into the nether realm. The sound of that hard place of existence made their skin as pale as ghosts. Shinnok rose an arm to put Aiko toward him like a magnet, soon Kung Lao with the other arm. He, however, had more strength than the fragile autistic as he yelped upon each motion. Shinnok then dropped into his own grip of glowing vermilion and dragged his victims down. By the time his legs made contact with the sweltering heat, Lao desperately flailed his arms as he screamed. Lu heard all the shrieks and his ears followed them to a nearby chamber. He bashed through the metal door with a flying kick, and he disregarded the pain. He came to the barren, massive prison only to notice a body scattered across the stone floor. Looking at his head, he recognized it was Kai. So Lu didn't confirm to be the cry. Replaying the screeches in his mind, he recalled it was Kung Lao! Drastic, the Shaolin scanned the entire chamber, but to no avail of his lifelong friend. As the Edenian women can do, was stand in a place with doubt and fright. Just then a crack of thunder greeted them. "Ah, Master Raiden! Where's Kung Lao and Aiko?" "Shinnok has taken them into the Netherrealm, into his own damn palace at the heart of the accursed world. There's hardly any time. The fallen Elder God is capable of manipulating people's souls. I believe he would corrupt their hearts in order to bind them to his dark will." For the first time, Lu was encased with fear and dread. If he's too late on saving them in all realms... "Now's not the time to fret, Liu Kang. Shinnok is only luring you into the abyss. Fujin and I would chase after the warlord. As long as he doesn't have the amulet and it's restored at the Temple of Elements, then there is a chance of hope. You must stay strong and prove yourself as champion once more." Look. "All right, Master. I'll do it." Raiden conjured his electrokinesis to form another rip. "This shall lead to the Netherrealm. Remember, I've no jurisdiction there. And if you fall even against Shinnok, you and their souls would be bound to him for eternity. You must not let your fears and doubts overtake you. All of existence depends on it. You've traversed the path before. We will follow you in. Hurry to the firewell and defend Shinnok in mortal combat. Defeat Shinnok. This will be your last chance. Good luck." Liu Kang leapt into the open portal before Fujin appeared via whirlwind and followed Raiden in. "Wait! What about us, Lord Raiden? You two Edenians can only assist us indirectly. You cannot survive within the Dead Realm, nor against Shinnok. However, you can still be of some assistance. Seek out Nightwolf. He will prove himself useful." The Thunder God was the only one left before he stepped into the portal, making it close for good. Unfortunately, I found out too late that the prison was actually a stage designated in the Netherrealm rather than Edenia, so sorry for the error. I think Goro is fought there, like in his own lair, but I never encountered him personally, so it was news to me. And there are the songs for that. So of course the next chapter shall be the finale. I can't wait to be done with this, as MK4 has been a chore for me to attain all the lore and revamping everything. I hadn't gotten a lot of imagination for it anyway, even when I was a kid. And for the record, it's not just research that makes works better, but also hands-on experience. Lately, MK4 and Gold were just meh to me, so I can't wait to get it all done. Stay tuned, loyal viewers. Until then, this is the Ekron Writer signing out. I can't wait to be done with this.